Hello, my Pisces friends. This is Kristen Redman, Astrological Intuitive, and today we are going to talk about what 2022 has in store in the skies for you. And I tell you what, it's going to be bringing some good stuff. It's going to be bringing some good stuff. And you know it because last year gave you a preview. It really did, with Jupiter finally coming back to your sign where it hasn't been since 2009, 2010. Growing, expanding, bringing lucky opportunities, good things, good people, just all sorts of wonderful things. And you got a preview, and it's going to continue for the pretty much the rest of this year too. So it showed you what was possible, and we're going to talk about what the rest of it has to do with it right now. But first, let's get into what the year has in store for you in terms of money. I mean, we know that Jupiter rolling through is going to be bringing just lucky breaks across the board on every front. And we'll talk about it as we keep going. But let's talk about money, right? Jupiter is also going to be doing something else, right? Not only is it expanding you, but it's also going to be expanding your financial situation as well, too. Because as it moves out of your sign and it goes into Aries, which happens May 11th to October 28th, in that time frame, it's going to give you a little bit of a preview of what 2023 has in store for you in terms of your financial sector in your chart. Now, when Jupiter goes through the second house, this is huge. I mean, this could be raises, it could be promotions, it could be change of job, it could be a number of things. It could be you doing some side hustle and making some money on the side too, doing some things as well. But what happens is that you just have an understand. That's the thing, right? Because this is your second house. Oh, my ear's ringing, so there's something to it. Because this is your second house, it's all things that we hold of value, but especially how much we value ourselves and our self-worth and how much we find that we are deserving of. And I think what happens a lot of times is that human nature, right? We say, oh, somebody else is lacking, right? So I don't deserve these good things because, my mom isn't doing well financially, or my cousin is doing really bad, and I don't deserve it. Or it can go on the opposite extreme and be like, well, my cousin is super rich and I deserve more, and blah, blah, blah. And then you find these, no matter which way, you find yourself limited, right? That's what ends up happening. You just find yourself limited in that same idea. This is a year when Jupiter goes through, not only is it trying to show you what's possible in terms of expanding your growth, it's directly impacted by how much you think you're worthy of. What are you deserving of? And then so Jupiter responds in kind, and it says, okay, you think that you deserve a promotion? Boom, here it is. You know what I mean? All these wonderful things that do happen. Not only that, we have Mars going through your house of finances where it hasn't been for 2 years. So where's that put us at the beginning of 2020? Yeah, before everything went all wonky, huh? And this is going to happen around the time of, May 29th. Is that Memorial Day? Yeah, like a Memorial Day time frame, whatever May 29th is. This is when Mars is going to be going through. And so what Mars does is it gives us a push. It sees where there's old stagnated energy. So if you've got some stagnated barnacles hanging out in your financial sector, Mars is going to come through and it's going to blast them away. It's going to blast them away because you know what it's going to do? It's going to give you the confidence to ask for that raise. That's what Mars does. It's full of fire. It's going to give you the courage to work towards that. It's going to give you the energy and the stamina you need to start that side hustle that you wanted to start. That's what Mars does, right? It gives us fire under our feet to get things done and move the old stagnated energy out of the way. So that's what's in store for you financially. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to the career house too next with that, because it has me think, okay, apparently there wasn't I didn't have anything written down for that for you. So never mind. It all goes together though. I think no matter what you do, if you want to make a change in your career, clearly we talked about that too. So let's move to something else. Let's go on to relationship, right? The heart center. Let's go there. So home, family, kids, relationship, all of them I'm going to lump together because there aren't any major planets or eclipses or anything that are happening in your relationship sector of your chart this year, but the fast moving planets are going through there, and we have some Mercury retrogrades happening there as well too. So If anything's going to be happening in terms of, you know, home, kids, relationship, it's going to be in the summertime, right? Where you'll see some shift and change. If you're looking for somebody, if you're trying to bring somebody in, that's going to be more the time frame. But with Jupiter working with you at any time, the more that you find that you're worthy for shift and change in that area, if you're looking for someone, if you want to fix an outstanding relationship, if you want to reconnect with your kids or start something new with your children in a different way, it's going to be really a blessing at any point there, but especially in the summertime. Now where the eclipses are going to be happening, let's talk about that. So eclipses are huge for us astrologers, right? When we do a chart for somebody, we look to see where the eclipses are going to be happening for them, because that's where the new beginnings are, right? They take on a new flavor every year and a half. They start to shift and change, and they change signs. And so this is the year where the eclipses are focused in Taurus and in Scorpio. Now, when I look at that, Taurus asks us what we hold of value, and Scorpio asks us what has to be let go of and sacrificed in order for us to achieve these things that we find that we deserve, right? So for you, that's going to be in the houses of communication, conscious thought and communication, and higher thought and our higher self and what it's telling us to do. These eclipses are going to push you to dream bigger and to explore the landscape of your mind. Hold on, I feel like I'm getting a message. So it's asking you to explore how you communicate, and if what you're communicating is based in the reality of what's happening and not what you envision reality to be. Okay? You are such a beautiful sign, Pisces. I tell you what, you're the biggest dreamers of the group. But when Neptune, your ruling planet, can go sideways, every planet has a positive and shadow side. But when yours goes on the negative side, right, it can land you into fog and disillusionment that is very easy to see as reality. So these eclipses come through, right? And Taurus, where it's happening in your house of conscious thought, is going to smack that into reality for you. I kind of smack myself in the face. Just smack myself there too. That's what the universe might do this year. You might find that, right? That maybe you're looking at a relationship. Let's use that example, right? You think this guy is great and he's wonderful, and you keep ignoring all the red flags, right? These eclipses come through, the Taurus ones in particular, April 30th and November 8th. They come through, and it's like reality gets smacked into you consciously. So instead of like operating on this dream system that's happening and ignoring all these red flags and speeding through them, something could happen, and it could be like, holy smokes, look at this, right? Or it could be the other way around. You know, there's so many different ways that this can happen, but I tell you what, if you find that you've been in some sort of illusion, this will wake you up to it. But the other thing that I'm looking at too is these could also be the times where if it's reversed, right, and someone's pulling the wool over your eyes, is going to be very, very evident in that time frame that you deserve more, right? Because that's what Taurus is about. It's telling us that you are worthy of a lot more, and this is a year where all of us are certainly starting to understand and realize what we do value. That's astrologically down with everything. So you might find that that's what happens in that time frame as well. And then on the other side of it, where these eclipses that are going to be happening May 16th and October 25th, that's on the other side. That's in the 9th house. So that's about the higher self talking with you, right? What is your higher self telling you? And then how are you communicating that through that 3rd house? Are you communicating effectively? Because that can be hard for Pisces, right? It's easier to be quiet than it is to talk. And so you might find that this higher self is telling you, if I want things to change, I have to communicate it effectively to others as well, you know, what I do want and how I need to get that done. But the 9th house also deals with travel, and it also deals with learning as well too. So you might find this is a year where you're finally able to travel, regardless of restrictions and pandemics aside. This was going to be happening anyway. So this is a year where you learn a lot about yourself through the places that you explore. Could be explorations of the mind, which include maybe you're going back and taking some classes. Maybe you're doing some seminars to better yourself. Maybe you're literally going back to school. That could very well happen too. These are the things that the ninth house pushes us to do under these eclipses. New energy wants to come through because there's so much ready to come because of this Jupiter situation getting you out of your comfort zone and pushing you to go beyond the boundaries that you've set yourself in. Last year was a big year for that, wasn't it, for you? Really, it was. Because that's what Jupiter does, right? It's that big old planet out there. And what it represents to us is having faith in the darkness that things will work out for us, right? And we get tested like a mofo in the process, don't we? We get tested. You want this? Well, how much are you going to, how much are you going to trust that the universe is going to bring it to you, right? And sometimes in order for these things to happen, a lot of times, right? You'll attest to this, right? That we got to push ourselves outside of our comfort zones. And our comfort zones, right, are all of these old beliefs, limiting beliefs that we have. I can only do so much. I can only achieve so much. I can only do so much. But then Jupiter comes through and it pushes us outside and it says, you can do so much more. All you got to do is look at it differently. All you got to do is just push yourself. Get yourself where it's uncomfortable. Because that's where the change happens, right? Is where it's uncomfortable. And that's what Jupiter's been doing in your sign. Neptune is your ruling planet, but traditionally, before we realized that there were those outer planets, Jupiter was your ruling planet. So it's kind of come home. And I bet in a lot of ways, you feel like you've come home to yourself and a greater understanding of who you are now and not who you were in the past. Dreams are coming to life, right? And it's going to be an extremely lucky period for you when those two planets align. This happens once every 12 years, and it's going to happen on April 13th this year. Once every 12 years. And where is that happening? It's happening in your house of self, right? Obviously, it's going to be a very lucky period. The only thing I would say, it depends on your chart, your own personal chart, how it's going to be aspected. If it's badly aspected, so if a red line is coming through it, I would be extra cautious of that fog of disillusionment and not necessarily seeing things correctly, but believing that they're correct. I would be careful of that. But beyond that, if you got blue lines going from it, if you look on your chart, holy smokes, I tell you what, this is going to be a lucky time frame for you. I would have faith, above all faith, for the biggest transformations, the biggest things you want to see, put them into the energy in that time frame of April 12th. And I tell you what, holy smokes. Not only that, right, but we always look to the new moons and the full moons every year for us. In terms of, like, okay, so new moons are when you're going to want to manifest and put out your seeds of manifestation for the upcoming year. Yours is going to be on March 2nd this year. And then the full moon for you is going to be, hold on a second, September 10th. Sorry, took me a second to find it there. September 10th. Now, full moons are a little bit different, right? That's when things reach a breaking point, right? That's when emotions run high. That's when all the things we've been trying to hide come to light. Think of it like that. The sun and the moon are in complete opposition with one another. So every crack and crevice of the old moon that hides things is illuminated. So secrets come to light. That's that time frame when you know some things have to be surrendered. And because there's so much, all of the major astrological events that are happening this year have to do with Jupiter, which technically is one of your ruling planets. So that's February 17th, that's that April 13th one we were talking about, and then the last one is on May 3rd. These major events are going to be happening that really show you where things are going to have to be surrendered in order for the good to come in, right? And you'll know it. So let's look at birthdays. All right, let's look at birthdays. This is really general, just for Pisces. If you want to dig in a little bit deeper for how your personal chart is aspected, I have a link below. You can reach out to me. We can do a reading by, Zoom, FaceTime, phone, whatever, you know what I mean, and dig in a little bit deeper. But in general, if your birthday is between March 2nd and March 10th, Uranus is going to be making a really awesome connection with your sun. And this is the Uranus is also making an amazing connection to the sun on that's the February 17th one. You're the one that's really, really pushed to embrace change. There could be some random stuff that pops up for you in that time frame. The more uncomfortable it makes you, the more weird and out of the norm it is for you. As long as it's positive, right? Not a negative. If it's really pushing you, embrace the change. I'm telling you, this is a year for embracing the change because you are breaking free from limiting beliefs and the limitations of the past, right? Because you are going to be one that is, it's almost like external environments are blasting those glasses off that had you not looking at things effectively. You're going to be seeing it effectively and you're going to make some amazing changes, right? It might not be comfortable, but I tell you what, you certainly will. March 12th through March 17th, Neptune is going to be aligned with your sun. This is a once in a lifetime thing that happens. Okay, once in a lifetime. Because that ruling planet of yours, Neptune, moves so dang slow. It takes like 200 years for it to be like equivalent to one of our years on Earth here. So for it to align with your sun, this is a huge year. Big year for understanding your spiritual connection and what the divine means to you. Whatever God is to you, you are going to be connecting with it on a different way this year. Trusting in yourself and what your intuition is telling you, right? Surrendering and letting go of old habits, old ways, old beliefs. Huge. This is going to be huge. But trusting in your guidance team more than ever. I think this is definitely a year of coming to understand who your spiritual guidance team is and how they help you to understand what steps to take, especially if you find yourself in the fog. Because Neptune aligning with your sun, remember, on the shadow side, it can be super real to you, but it could be completely wrong. You know what I mean? So be extra careful and know that you have a guidance team there to help you. March 17th to March 20th, Pluto is going to be making a heck of a great connection to your sun this year, encouraging you to grow in new ways through transformation, which is also going to require you to surrender and release old, outdated beliefs, ways, habits, people, situations, whatever is old that you find yourself in again and again and again. Pluto is going to have you cutting it off at the pass. So it might be a year of withdrawing. You might find that to be the case, especially because Jupiter is going through your sign and you may be more introspective than extroverted this year. That's cool, man, because it's going to help you find your true happiness that's promised with this Jupiter going through your sign, right? It's an amazing thing. No matter what, right? I think it's tough, right, when you're Pisces because you can either be super spot on with your intuition or it can be really, really off. And then substances can fill that space, to help you understand. But the thing is, you do have amazing intuition. And you can tap into that guidance and hear the guidance. Guidance. You can hear the answers, let's say that, very, very clearly if you're in tune. And I would ask for your archangel, who is Archangel Sandelphan, to bring you those answers, to bring you that clarity. He is an angel that is said to be so tall that he reaches from earth all the way up to heaven. He's so darn big. And so he takes our prayers and our requests and he takes them right up to the throne of God and brings those blessings back down to us because he's so darn tall, Ask for him to help you. And he's also the angel of music. So you may find that meditation through sound therapy, music therapy will also help bring you insights as well. So if you ever get lost, call on our good old friend. So I'm just pulling a card. A Pisces card is our outro here for your reading. See what 2022 main thing they want you to focus or be aware of. Yeah. Hold on. Chop wood. Well, that's a weird card. I don't feel right about that. I'm going to shuffle again. Okay. Oh, no. A leg up. Look at that. I love this card in so many ways. And you know what it is? And it really, really rings true with like the theme of the year too, is the more that we surround ourselves with others and understand that it's okay to be interdependent instead of independent, when we can actually ask others to help us, we all move forward. How good does it make you feel? Oh my gosh, Pisces, when you do something for somebody, you of all the signs, oh my gosh, you're the champion of the underdog, right? There is a beauty and a magic that happens when we extend ourselves to help another person, right? When we step outside of ourselves and help another person, as long as it has good intentions and we're not overextending ourselves. But that's part of the energetic exchange of the universe. But you also got to receive, right? You also have to get things from other people. So if you're one of those people that's super, super independent and you never want to get help from anybody, if this is a year, which this is showing me, where somebody's offering you help, take that as a sign from the universe and say, you know what, thank you for the karmic return here. I'll take it, because not only are you helping that person to feel better and move themselves ahead, you're also getting the assistance that you've been asking for help to receive. Definitely a huge card. Know that the more that you surround yourself with others and help others in the right way, it will come back in turn as well too, which I guess kind of in a way that Chopwood card was pretty accurate as well too. Sorry, universe. Because it says just get to work and doing it, right? Just get to work and doing it. And sometimes it's boring, but you know, the more that we are consistent, the more results that we see. So, hey, Pisces, thank you so much for watching. I know it's going to be an amazing year. Trust in that. Have faith that the universe is going to bring you what you deserve. Thank you so much.